listen to your real estate agent as long as your real estate agent knows what they're talking about.
Real Estate Radio Boston with financial expert Rick Shear of MSA Mortgage.
The premise of starting the show was to be Mythbusters and sort of take out some of the fallacies out of the process.
And legal professional Ali Alavi of Alavi Braza PC.
It's a transaction for us, but it's someone's home for them. It's someone that has saved up all of their money, who has been renting for so long. It's the American dream. It's all of that.
The show that brings you the most up-to-date news in the housing market, week after week.
Is you can essentially tighten the timelines so that in the eyes of a seller, it's going to look as though it's cash. What I miss in Heights, I make up in person. Why aren't you talking to me today?
Yeah, you just get me fired up.
I do. I want to get you fired up.
Good thing my wife doesn't listen to the show or she'll have a conversation.
Don't be jealous. Don't be a hater.
They'd chip you out too.
There's no need to be a hater.
Here are your hosts, Rick Shear and Ali Alavi.
Tell us a little bit about your company and tell us about that crazy market down there right now.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man, things are exciting. Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater. Sometimes we even lump Bradenton, Sarasota into that mix. I mean, you're talking about the Gulf Coast of Florida, some of the most affordable pricing in all of the United States. And right now it's sunny and 75 down there.
And you're freezing your butt up here.
We just came up and, visiting family. And, I'm excited about it. I tell you, we're perfectly positioned. We've got the Real Estate Quarterback Show. We've got a radio and TV show in Tampa, Florida. So I'm growing my brokerage nationwide. We've got a very unique offering where we have a media company married with a real estate brokerage. And I just, I got offered to host a nationally televised show coming out in the spring. I was kind of sharing a little bit about
You did when I was down in Tampa the other day. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So, a lot of cool positive momentum, things happening, and just excited to be alive here. Thankful.
Talk to us about, if I'm looking to maybe think about retiring in the future down in the Tampa area, what's a good game plan for me right now? Is it something that I maybe should lock in a nice low rate, buy a property, maybe rent it seasonally and go down there? Give us, we only got about a minute and a half left, but give us some idea on someone thinking about retiring at some point down there. Is it a good time to buy right now?
Right now is the time. I would not wait. I would take action. And yes, a lot of these properties, you can rent them out monthly, seasonally, take advantage of it when you want to take advantage of it and be down there with your friends and family. But yeah, definitely build up a legacy, build up some wealth and a secondary vehicle in addition to what you're already doing. And I'd love to be, the guy that helps you with that. RealEstateRadioTampa.com is my website. Great. You can, Rick and Ali, I'm sure will link me on their site as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for Rick and I mean, or anybody in our position here in this jurisdiction, it's going to be really difficult for us to be able to orchestrate by going back and forth. Do you have technology that's going to be able to allow us to virtually take a look at some of these inventories?
Oh, absolutely. I've got an account called listingbook.com. I could set up our listeners. Anybody that wants to be put on a drip campaign, they can put in the types of properties they're looking for. Every day when those properties hit MLS, it's going to be sent to you. So it's a direct link. It's going to tie you in basically to the MLS as a sub-account of my account.
Right.
So It's going to it's going to empower you as a potential buyer.
SWAT, what does it stand for? What's your company all about? How long have you been doing this? Where do you service? I have so many questions.
So many questions.
Let me run through it for you. Thank you. So Soil, Water, and Air Technologies,
Wonderful.
SWAT Environmental. We address various vapor intrusion problems. So what's most pertinent to this audience is radon.
Right.
Radioactive gas that can be quite harmful if not dealt with.
How harmful?
Well, number 2 cause of lung cancer.
It's harmful.
Pretty simple. Harmful.
Tell us what a radon mitigation system is.
Yeah, very simply. The technology is called sub-slab depressurization, which means we're using a network of pipes, one that goes down through the concrete in the concrete slab, connect a fan to it. It creates a vacuum effect so that you can balance out the pressure, meaning make negative pressure underneath the slab, which prevents air from coming up through cracks, through any open, expansion joints there may be left when they pour the slab, that kind of thing. Am I getting too technical for you?
No.
It's great.
Mike Baker's phone just went off.
As usual. I think it happens every time he's in the studio.
Right.
And the reason it's more common today is because construction is better. Houses are tighter.
Sure.
Natural airflow doesn't occur anymore. Everyone's got spray-in foam insulation. These things are airtight, and that's what allows radon to concentrate in higher levels than 10, 15, 20 years ago. Most people had never heard of it.
Tell us a little bit about your firm, who you service, how long you've been doing it.
So we're a general estate planning practice firm. We focus on estate planning, helping individuals, families, elders plan for the risk of life. So becoming disabled, protecting assets, health issues, and planning for incapacity.
I've had a lot of clients who have called me to say, "Hey, I want to deed my property over to my family or my kids, so it doesn't end up in trust and estate issues further on down the road." And that's sort of been the logic of recent. That's sort of changing now with some of the new law the federal government has put into place. Talk to us a little bit about how that mindset's shifting a little bit.
Sure. Since about 2000, there's been a real shift in the ability to pass a substantial amount of money tax-free, particularly on the federal level. And one of the benefits typically with those higher exemption amounts is when you die, you get what's referred to as an adjusted basis on your property. So any capital gains tax based on the appreciation is basically washed away if you have that asset in your name when you die.
But going back to those massive percentage of people that don't even have an estate plan, how would they go about preparing themselves to have an effective estate plan?
I guess that we usually talk about people procrastinating and not doing anything, but here actually procrastination probably has worked.
Sure, exactly.
Right, with the deeding of the property, correct.
Well, with waiting to not do anything.
Right, exactly.
So I think you mentioned you had a client that was wondering what I should give my property away right now.
Exactly.
And if you bought it a year ago and it hasn't appreciated, maybe you do give it away.
Tell us a little bit about your company. Where do you guys service? How long have you been doing this?
Sure. So we're headquartered out of Canton, Massachusetts. I have 9 wonderful individuals that work in my office.
Excellent.
We cover New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and we do about 13 appraisals a day. We're pretty busy right now.
What are you seeing as a consensus about value right now? Are you seeing it? Because you get to see the purchase and sale agreement, so you know what the person's buying the property for. Are you seeing a lot of misses? Are you seeing really the market catch up?
I agree with you. There's a lot of very hot markets. South Boston.
Right.
I take that in consideration.
Charlestown.
Jamaica Plain. I used to live there. Charlestown. There's areas where there's a lot of activity, multiple offers. I think we look at that. We take that into consideration. And then you have other areas where you have a little bit more flexibility. Parts of Rhode Island, you might have a little bit more time, or you might not have that demand as much as strong. But then there's parts like Newport. You can see that as well.
And are you seeing a lot of appraisals come in, where the client has to maybe come up with a little additional money because it's not really worth today what they're buying it for?
I think, with the change in education with real estate agents, and I've been an agent before myself and licensed, you see a lot better quality BPOs. So I don't see a lot of misses per se, because I think they're really educating their homeowner. And homeowners have access to data. You have Redfin. You have all these amazing things out there, so they can see that comp out there, and they know.
I'd love you to tell us a little bit about what you're using in the field to make sure your appraisals are spot on.
Well, the great thing about apps, when I cringed with all these great new things, text message and everything, is now we have apps that help us on the iPad to actually start an appraisal. So I start majority of my appraisals on the iPad, and I can do sketch, I can take photos, I can do basic information on the property, and that saves me probably 30 to 40 minutes on the back end when I go home.
Wow.
And I think you're more accurate because you're getting it from the field, you're not transposing it again, so you cut out a lot of the inaccuracies.